Manchester United receive massive injury setback with Lenny, Yoro and Rasmus Hojlund suffering injuries against Arsenal in the pre-season friendly. Mazraoui to Manchester United apparently advanced and close to completion, and Manchester United told that £38 million will be enough to get them Ligt. These are some of the stories we will be discussing on this morning's live show. But before we get into that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm live every single day at 8:30, 1:30 and 6. So if you want to keep up to date with all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk, make sure you get involved. Everyone is welcome. Right, I'm going to start the show off by talking about our game last night against Arsenal. Let me know how you thought the game went. Obviously, it is a pre-season match, so I'm not going to get too upset about us losing. I hope no one else is as well, because it is just a pre-season game. And the most important thing that you can get out of a pre-season match is minutes in the legs and not injuries. Now, we'll talk about Lenny, Yoro and Hojlund in a minute, because there are multiple different reports coming out suggesting different things. So we'll get into that in a minute. But I want to start with some positivity. Harry Amas last night looked unbelievable. Toby Collier looked unbelievable. And I think both of those two players are ready to take the leap into the first team now. So that's a massive positive. Really, really happy about that. What last night's game did scream out to me, though, is, as we've said many, many times before, we have so many players at this club that are surplus to requirements, players that aren't good enough to play for Manchester United anymore, and players that Manchester United are probably saying the same things as I am this morning, that they want to get rid of, but they're probably going to struggle to do so. Now, I'm thinking of people like Maguire. He's kind of the obvious one. Casemiro, obviously. I mean, those are kind of the two standout ones, aren't they, from the team that started the game yesterday, Casemiro and Maguire. But with Lenny Yoro becoming injured, what does that mean for Maguire? We'll talk about that in a minute. But overall, it was just a pre-season match. I think a couple of people had some quite good performances, specifically Harry Amas and Toby Collier. I thought they were really, really good. Rasmus Hojlund scored a beautiful goal, so fair play to him for that. But in relation to the injuries, right, so this has been confirmed this morning by a couple of different people. Apparently, Lenny Yoro has sprained his ankle. Now, an ankle sprain can be anything from a couple of weeks. That's the best case scenario. So, he'll be back by the start of the season. Or it could be anywhere up to a couple of months. So it completely depends. And worst case scenario is a couple of months. As I said, best case scenario is probably like 1 or 2 weeks. Most ankle sprain injuries are just a couple of weeks. So let's try and stay positive here. Let's try and see through this. He probably is going to miss the next 2 games of the pre-season tour, but he should be back available for the game against Man City in the Community Shield. And if he's not, he should be back for our home game against Fulham, the first game of the season, which is in like 2.5 weeks. So fingers crossed. But what this now means for Manchester United is that they need to speed up on the centre-back pursuit. We'll talk about Ligt in a minute, but they really, really need to get this Ligt deal over the line now, because we've effectively just lost our key signing of the summer. And until we know 100% how long he's out for, I mean, if he's out for 2 or 3 months, then I don't even know what to say, Let me see if I can get a little bit more information on it quickly. Obviously, at the moment, it's still very, very early days, and it can completely depend. And it all depends on how the ankle looks after like 24, 48 hours. So when Erik ten Hag was asked about it after the game, he just said, it's too soon. We'll have to wait and see how it looks tomorrow, etc., etc. He did walk off the pitch, which is obviously really, really positive. So that's, a good step. But yeah, we'll have to wait, I think, at least 24 hours to know the full kind of extent of the injury. So there's some people saying that it was an artificial pitch, but apparently that's not true. Apparently it was a grass pitch. There's a lot of people complaining that it was because the pitch wasn't good enough and all the rest of it. I've been told that the pitch was grass, so I don't know. I think people are just looking for excuses. So yeah, let's try and stay positive here. Worst case scenario, 2 to 3 months. Best case scenario, just a couple of weeks, and he'll be back on the pitch. So yeah, that's not the end of the world. Moving over to Rasmus Hojlund, obviously he's suffered an injury as well. Apparently Rasmus Hojlund is a hamstring injury. I don't really know how long hamstring injuries are, to be honest. Hamstring injury, football length. Yeah, if anybody knows in the comment section, let me know. I mean, if it's just a strain, probably just a couple of weeks. I think if it's a bad hamstring injury, it can be a bit longer, but it's not like it's not like he's done his ACL or he's broken his leg or something. It probably will be a few weeks. And obviously it's frustrating. And this does happen in pre-season, you know. He was obviously on holiday for 3 weeks. This is now the first game he's had back since coming back from his holiday. And then he's got injured. So it is annoying, but there's not really too much about it. And what it means now is Manchester United need to act on it. They need to make sure that they get the signings they need in, because at the moment, we are looking a little bit weak now, aren't we? Because realistically, first game of the season, okay, it's going to be it could be Harry Maguire and Martinez starting that first game of the season, you know, which already is giving me nightmares. Like, imagine if Martinez isn't ready for the first game of the season either. It could be Johnny Evans and Maguire again. And that's a reality. So Ineos now just need to go out and sign a centre-back, whether that's David Hanko, whether that's Ligt, whether that's Jared Branthwaite, whether that's Trevor Chalobah, like whoever it is, Manchester United need to go and act in the market now. And this is now an emergency because we've just lost our big money signing. We've lost our Varane replacement. And we need to get it sorted because we can't have another injury crisis this season. We can't. We're literally 2 games into pre-season. Somebody's saying that Ahmad's injured as well. Apparently Ahmad's all right, apparently, I've read this morning. So I think Ahmad's okay. The main ones we need to worry about is Rasmus Hojlund and Lenny Yoro. Somebody's saying that hamstring injury is 4 weeks. At the moment, it's all speculation, all right? So let's just try and look at it in a positive way. Lenny Yoro and Hojlund are injured. Obviously, that's disappointing. Obviously, they're going to miss the games against Real Betis and Liverpool in the pre-season. But let's just hope and pray that it is just a few weeks and they're back in time for the game against Fulham. They're both young. Like, they're going to have the best medical care to get them back to where they need to be. So let's try and stay positive about that. And as I said, the most important thing here is how Manchester United now act in the market. Obviously, we've got Joshua Zirkzee. So in the strikers area, it's not too bad. Zirkzee can play instead of Hojlund. That's no problem. But as soon as you look on the bench in our centre-back department, we're in trouble. We are. I'm sorry. Like, Johnny Evans and Maguire aren't good enough, are they? Somebody says, is Harry Maguire injured? No, Harry Maguire played yesterday. He was fine. He's back on the pitch. So, yeah. Digital Sports Update says Martinez might not even be ready to start the season. Yeah, I mean, that's what I just said. Obviously, Martinez is still on holiday. Martinez is, I don't know where he is at the moment, but I think Martinez is back in training later on this week. And then our first game is not this Saturday, the Saturday after. So, yeah. But let's try and look at the positive. Obviously, Toby Collier, Harry Amas, very, very good. I would literally promote them straight to the first team now. I'd have them at least on the bench for the next season. But yeah, it's disappointing. And I know people are going to be like, oh, we lost the game and all the rest of it. But it was just a pre-season friendly. So Amnat says, where is Zirkzee? Zirkzee's still on holiday, mate. Zirkzee's on holiday. But he is going to be back later this week. I saw some people like going crazy on Twitter, like saying it's a disgrace that Zirkzee's gone on holiday, blah, 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 because he didn't play many minutes at the Euros. And to be honest, I actually think it's good that these players are getting a rest because, like, you see what happens when players play too many games, you know? So let them go and have their holiday. Like, it's going to be a long season. It's going to be 60, 70 games probably, plus all the international games. So I've got no issue with Zirkzee, Bruno, Dalot, Mainu, Luke Shaw. Like, maybe not Luke Shaw, to be fair, but the rest of them deserve their holiday. Luke Shaw's been on holiday all season, hasn't he? I know he's been injured, so it's a bit harsh, but I think he's only played like 2 games or something in the last 12 months. But anyway, let's move on to some more transfer-related stuff. I'll keep you updated on the Hojlund and Lenny Yoro injury situation, but let's try and be positive. 2 to 3 weeks is the minimum. Worst case scenario, it could be around a couple of months, but it's going to be a couple of weeks, guys. Don't worry. I'm staying positive this morning. We've got over 700 people watching the video live, which is amazing. If everyone could do me a small favour and smash a like, that'd be really, really appreciated. And if everyone who's just joined for the first time could subscribe, that would be also appreciated. We're on the road to 40k. When we hit 40k subscribers, I'm going to be giving out 2 of the brand new blue Manchester United shirts. We did a giveaway at 30k. And we're going to do another one at 40k. So if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe. I'll drop a link into the chat to do that now. Okay, let's move over to... Who should we talk about first? Let's talk about Mazraoui. So this is coming out from Sky Sports this morning, and they're saying that Mazraoui to Manchester United is now at an advanced stage. So it looks like we are going to get Mazraoui. Apparently, he's told Manchester United he wants to join. He's agreed personal terms. He spoke to Erik ten Hag. Obviously, we know that Mazraoui was the right back in Erik ten Hag's Ajax team. So it all kind of makes sense there. 26 years of age. He's effectively going to be Aaron Wan-Bissaka's replacement. We'll talk about Wan-Bissaka in a minute. I'm relatively happy about this Mazraoui deal. I think it's a decent signing. I know people say about his injuries and all the rest of it, and I get that. But if he's just going to be a backup to Diogo Dalot, then I don't really have a problem with it. And we just have to hope that, the injuries don't come back again next year. It could do. Who knows? You never know in football. It seems like everybody's getting injured these days, doesn't it? Because of all the games. It does. The injuries have gone crazy over the last couple of years. So, yeah, I'm excited about Mazraoui. Apparently, the deal will be worth around £13 million. So it's very, very low risk. 26 years of age, which is, I think, the perfect age for someone to come in as a backup. Yeah, let me know how you feel about Mazraoui to Manchester United in the comment section. £13 million. Do you think that's a good bit of business? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm always interested to see what other Man United fans have to say, so make sure you get involved. Yeah, so advanced Mazraoui to Manchester United, deal close. I think that one will be concluded this week, I reckon. Wan-Bissaka will leave. We'll talk about him in a minute. And Mazraoui will join as his replacement. And it is a good replacement, I think. They're both 26. They've both got a year left of their contracts. Neither of them want to sign new deals. I don't think Man United want to give Wan-Bissaka a new deal either. So it makes a lot of sense. You let one go and you bring in somebody else. The same age, slightly different profile, but probably more suited to an Erik ten Hag style team. And maybe he does unlock Antony. Maybe Antony of Ajax comes back because of Mazraoui joining. I'm still holding my breath on that one. I'm not fully convinced that just from signing Mazraoui, suddenly Antony will be the player that we hoped he was. But yeah. But moving on from that, I wanted to talk a little bit quickly about Shola Shira-Ture. This may be a name that some of you either don't know or have forgotten about, but Shola Shira-Ture was a Manchester United player. He has left the club and he is joining Greek side POK on a free transfer. So I wish him all the best. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that, but he was a player who came through the youth academy. He was a player that people did expect to kind of break through into the first team, but it never really worked out for him. So Shola Shira-Ture is joining PAOK on a free transfer. So I wish him all the best. Again, a little bit of a strange deal. Seems like lots of our players are wanting to go to the Greek league. Obviously, Pellistri looks like he's going there as well. So yeah, I wish him all the best. We won't get any money though, just for people to clear. So there's no transfer fee. It's a free transfer. Okay, let's have a look at what people are saying in the chat this morning. Let's have a look. Craig says Mazraoui is quality. Digital Sports Update says Mazraoui will be a good signing, but we need another centre-back immediately. Yep, I agree, mate. Somebody says if Mazraoui plays good, if Mazraoui is fit, he will be good. Yeah. And Ronnie says Mazraoui, please. De Ligt, please. Defensive midfielder, please. Another centre-back, please. Wow. Lots and lots of requests this morning. Kashif says, is there any news about a swap deal with Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Dumfries? I think that one's gone a little bit quiet, to be honest with you, mate. Yeah, we'll talk about Wan-Bissaka now. So this again is coming up from Sky Sports this morning that apparently, let me get the story up for you. Where's it gone? There it is. So this is coming out from Sky Sports. They're saying that West Ham are now in advanced talks to sign Manchester United fullback Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It says the club are keen to try and negotiate down United's valuation, which is currently in excess of £15 million. Yeah, apparently United are asking for £18 million plus add-ons for Wan-Bissaka, which I think is probably fair, to be honest. 1 year left of his deal. I don't think he's really wanted at Manchester United anymore. I know he's great defensively, but going forward, I think he's very limited. And Manchester United want to move on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. That's been widely reported. And they want to bring in someone like Mazraoui or someone like Denzel Dumfries as his replacement. So Wan-Bissaka to West Ham is now at an advanced stage. So there's going to be the domino effect, which I always talk about on this channel, right? Wan-Bissaka moves to West Ham, and then that will allow Mazraoui to join Manchester United. And the interesting thing about this deal is, right, Mazraoui and De Ligt both have the same agent. So there is talk of some sort of double deal being negotiated. We'll talk about De Ligt in a couple of minutes. But obviously it makes the deal a little bit easier because it's the same agent. And just to say, it's not the same agent as Erik ten Hag before people start screaming, oh, it's that Erik ten Hag's agent again, blah, blah, blah. I know people are really, really upset about that, aren't they? The fact that we keep signing Erik ten Hag's agents players, So yeah, Mazraoui to Manchester United, Wan-Bissaka to West Ham. That's an option there. Somebody says, is Frimpong an option? The thing with Frimpong, mate, he's a very, very good player, but Frimpong is more of a winger than a right back. Frimpong only really works defensively in a back five. And when you think that we've just lost Lenny Yoro, I don't think we could even play a back five. Obviously, Lindelof is going to go to Fenerbahce. We'll talk about him in a minute. Like, at this moment in time, if we were to play a back five, right, are you ready for this? Our back five would be this. The three centre-backs would be Martinez, Maguire, and Johnny Evans. I mean, how does everybody feel about that? So, Frimpong, I just don't think would work. I think we'd need to sign another two centre-backs if we were going to sign Frimpong. Because otherwise, our back three just wouldn't be solid enough. It wouldn't, I don't think. Although Harry Maguire in a back five does actually work quite well. So maybe it would work. Maybe that's the key to our season. We go to a back five with Maguire, Martinez, and Evans. Obviously, this is working on the assumption that Lenny Yoro is injured. So yeah, I don't think Jeremy Frimpong is a solid option at this moment, to be honest. Like, if we were to get rid of Sancho, if we were to get rid of Pellistri, maybe Anthony goes out on loan, then maybe Manchester United bring in Jeremy Frimpong and they could use him as a right wing back, a right winger. But as a standalone right back in a back four, Jeremy Frimpong won't work. He won't. He's a very, very attacking player. He's not very good defensively at all. So, yeah, whereas obviously if you have a back five, you don't really rely on your right wing back and your left wing back to defend that much. You know, they're more like attacking players. So, yeah, Jeremy Frimpong to Manchester United. I'd probably say no. I just thought of something crazy then, right? Imagine if you had a back five and you put Anthony at left wing back and you put Frimpong at right wing back. I'm just thinking of all the most scary, nightmarish scenarios that Manchester United could run with. But yeah, so Frimpong to Manchester United, I don't think that one will happen, mate, to be honest. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news for that one. But yeah, let's move over to Victor Lindelof. So Victor Lindelof has now dropped out of the pre-season tour, apparently, and he is in talks to sign for Fenerbahce. We've spoke about this deal for a very, very long time. Obviously, Jose Mourinho is the new manager of Fenerbahce. Jose Mourinho is apparently desperate to bring Victor Lindelof over to Turkey. The deal will be worth somewhere between 10 to 15 million euros, which I think is completely fair. Again, he's another player with 1 year left of his contract. Another player who, at the age of 30, is surplus to requirements, I think. I mean, I say that, like, we don't have any centre-backs now. So maybe we still need to keep Lindelof. But my preference is always going to be that you get rid of the players who aren't good enough and then you go and sign new players. Johnny Evans, fine, he's 36. Keep him as a fifth choice centre-back, right? Lenny Yoro and Martinez, obviously you keep them. That's 3. We should really be getting rid of Maguire and Lindelof and going and signing Ligt and Chalobah, or Chalobah and Branthwaite, or Branthwaite and Ligt. Like, we should be going out and buying 2 centre-backs this summer, you know? Because at the moment, all we've done is replace Varane with Lenny Yoro, who's now injured. And we've got rid of Willy Camboala. So at this moment in time, and I'm not trying to scare you, our centre-back situation is worse than it was last season. Realistically, isn't it? Because last season we had Varane. Varane's gone. Now we've got Lenny Yoro, but he's injured. And last season we had Willy Camboala, who was good, but now he's gone. So as of today, at the point of recording this video, Manchester United, Ineos, Sir Dave Brailsford, Dan Ashworth, they need to go and act in the market now. They do. And I know we need to sell players. I get that. But the season starts in literally 2.5 weeks. And the reality is that if this Lenny Yoro injury doesn't go our way, our starting centre-backs will be Martinez and Maguire. Now, it is just the first game. I'm still confident we can beat Fulham at home with Martinez and Maguire, so it's not the end of the world, but like, it clearly shows that we need some backup in that areas. And I think that Manchester United's hand will be forced now, and they will go out and put in another bid for De Ligt, because Erik ten Hag's going to be sat there thinking, I've just lost my new centre-back. Like, what happens now? You know? He's going to be there scratching his head thinking, how can this happen again? The season hasn't even started and we've already got an injury crisis, you know? Ellen says, be real, we will never be able to sell Maguire. Yeah, that's probably fair. Someone's saying, please do a poll. What do you want the poll to be? Let me know. And I will do it. I will do 1 poll per show. That's what people have requested. So I'm more than happy to do it. Somebody says, is there any news on Amrabat and Ugarte? I try not to regurgitate the same news over and over again. So I can talk about Ugarte and Amrabat, but there's nothing really new. All that we know is that Manchester United are apparently negotiating with Fiorentina and PSG for Ugarte and Amrabat. That's all we know at the moment. It's just the same. There isn't any like big updates on it. So yeah, in short, no. And I feel like this preseason tour is probably slowing things down a little bit because obviously Dan Ashworth, Omar Barada, all of them have gone off to this preseason tour. They're all over there in America. And apparently they've left some other people here in England to like negotiate the deals and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how that's kind of affecting the progress of deals and all the rest of it. But let's move over to Matthijs de Ligt then quickly, shall we? Because a story broke last night just after the game finished, saying that apparently Manchester United have told Bayern Munich they do not plan to spend more than £38 million on Matthijs de Ligt this summer. How does everyone feel about that? 38 million for de Ligt. I still think that sounds like a lot, but now that Lenny Yoro is injured, we desperately need to strengthen that area. Some people in the comments are going to be saying, why are we signing de Ligt? He's also an injury-prone player. We spoke about this many, many times before on the show. De Ligt has had some injuries, but if you actually look over a 7-year period and you add all of the injuries he's had, all of the games he's missed, it only works out about 4 or 5 games a season across both playing for the Netherlands and for Bayern Munich. So his injury record isn't as bad as I think people are making out. It's just been in recent years he's had some bad, it's not even bad injuries. It's just like unfortunate ones, like unlucky ones. So I'm still in the camp that we should sign de Ligt. I just think that we need to make sure we don't overpay for him. And we need to make sure that we don't get our pants pulled down effectively. I didn't know how else to word it, but yeah. Kashif says you should do a poll on de Ligt. But what's the question? Let me know what the question is that you want me to ask, and I would do a poll. I'm more than happy to do one poll a show, no problem at all. But yeah, so £38 million is apparently the fee that Manchester United will be willing to pay for de Ligt, including add-ons. The first bid they put in was 25 plus 4 million in add-ons. Now they're saying they'll pay 38. So my understanding is that it will be somewhere like 30 million up front plus around 8 million in add-ons. And whether or not that will be enough to get Bayern Munich to accept is yet to be seen. They're still saying they want this 42 million pounds, but Florian Plettenberg came out last night, obviously very reliable German Sky Sports News journalist, saying that apparently Bayern Munich are desperate to sell players in order to bring in new signings this summer. So although Bayern Munich think that they hold all the cards, realistically, they need to bring in money. Just like we do, they need to sell players. And it might be that they have to negotiate a little bit on the fee. 38 million. I mean, if de Ligt comes to Manchester United and he plays like he did at Ajax, that would be probably one of the best signings in our history for £38 million. If he comes to Manchester United and he's injured half the season, it will probably be one of the worst. So it's a massive roll of the dice here, because it could either be very, very lucrative in the sense that you bring in someone for probably half of their market value, or he might come in and he might miss loads of games. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. No one can tell how de Ligt will get on at Manchester United. Yeah, very, very hard to say or predict. Leaf says we should do a poll on what priorities we need to sign this summer. Okay, let's do this. I've got a good poll for you. So we're going to do this. We're going to do, are you happy with 38 million for de Ligt? There you go. That's a simple poll. One poll per show, as people have requested. And obviously, if you're watching back on repeat, you can let me know in the comment section. Are you happy with paying £38 million for de Ligt? I am, to be honest. And I do think he's going to do well. I'm feeling confident about de Ligt now. I think his injury thing, it's just bad luck. It's not like he's had a hamstring injury that keeps coming back. It's like a shoulder injury, then something else. Then, do you know what I mean? It's all different injuries. So Al's saying we should go for Hanko instead of de Ligt. Well, the problem with Hanko is apparently he is close to agreeing a deal with Atletico Madrid. So Hanko to Manchester United doesn't look like it's going to happen, unfortunately. And I know a lot of people really, really want to see Hanko, but yeah, there's not really much we can do about that. We're over halfway to our likes target now. So if everyone who's watching hits the like button, we will hit our likes target of 1,000. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please go and do that. We're only 2 subscribers away from 33,700. And remember, when we hit 40k, I'm going to be doing a competition to give away 2 of the new blue Manchester United shirts. So go and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's make sure we hit 33,700 by the end of the video, guys. It's only 2 subscribers. Go and subscribe now if you haven't, and make sure you smash a like on the video. I will read out a couple of your questions and stuff in a minute as well, so make sure you get your comments in and stuff, and I'll read out some in a second. Right, let's move on from that though. Let's move on from that. So we spoke about Wan-Bissaka, spoke about Shola Shiratire. I to be honest, like, just to summarise that part of the show, I'm expecting Man United to go in for another bid with Ligt today. Like, they need to do that. They need to act fast. We need Ligt back in training, like this week at Carrington. Because what if Lenny Yoro is injured for a longer time? I think we need to try and confirm that deal before it becomes public knowledge how long Lenny Yoro is out for. Because imagine if we find out today that Lenny Yoro is going to be out for 3 months. Then Bayern Munich are just going to say, all right, we want 42 million, take it or leave it. Branthwaite will be 70, 80 million. Like, we still need these other clubs to think that we have the bargaining power. Whereas if they know that our new centre-back signing is out for months, which it could be, they're not gonna drop their price. Why would they? Because they'll know that we're desperate. So I really, really am hoping and expecting a second bid to go in for De Ligt today. Whether or not it will be accepted, I don't know. Maybe Bayern are stubborn and say we want the 42 million. Yeah. Somebody says, do you think we are going to bid for Branthwaite again? I still think that Branthwaite could be a Manchester United player. You know, I really, really do. Obviously, we've had 2 bids rejected for Branthwaite. The first one was 35 plus add-ons. The second was 45 plus add-ons. I think we will go in for a third bid. I do. But I just think that they're gonna hold out for 70, 80 million. Like, that's my take on it. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Branthwaite deal happens. I really, really wouldn't. Because the thing that I like about Branthwaite is his versatility. We spoke about him on the show before, obviously, but he can play as left-sided centre-back, right-sided centre-back, and as left-back. And I think that that's exactly what Man United need. So I personally would rather, if I had to pick, Manchester United go and put in a bid of 50 million today, take it or leave it for Branthwaite, versus the 38 for De Ligt. He's already agreed personal terms. He wants to come to the club. Like, I know De Ligt does as well, but yeah, I would go and do that today. Leaf says, what about Antonio Silva? Antonio Silva is another option, of course. Apparently, he is available for a cheaper deal this summer, but we need to act fast. And we're already in conversation with Bayern and Everton. Like, we're already quite far down the line with those 2 deals. The players have agreed personal terms. They've spoke to Erik ten Hag. They want to come to the club. Whereas I feel like Antonio Silva is going to be kind of starting from the beginning again, isn't it? It's going to be speaking to the player, working out prices. And I don't think we have the time to do that now. Like, the window closes in 4 weeks, remember? Literally, I think it's 4 weeks. Is it 4 weeks? 1, 2, 3. No, 5 weeks. So we've got 5 weeks left of the window. Or 4 weeks on Friday. So yeah, 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks. But the point I'm trying to make here is, right, we've already done the groundwork for De Ligt and Branthwaite. We've spoke to the players. They know they want to come. And those are, I think, easier deals to do. Whereas Benfica are an absolute nightmare to deal with. They are. PSG have been negotiating with Benfica for João Neves for like a month. And they still haven't got the deal fully agreed yet. So, although Antonio Silva is a good player, I think we need to move a little bit faster now. And for me personally, starting the negotiations from the beginning, that could take 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And by then, we'll be 3 games into our Premier League season. And it might be that Maguire's starting those games. And that does worry me. I'm sure Maguire will be fine against Fulham, but the further the season goes along, we can't be relying on Maguire and Johnny Evans again for a whole nother 12-month season, a whole nother 6-month season. Like, that just can't happen. But yeah, obviously I'll keep you updated on everything as and when we get more news. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you very much for joining me on the show today. Please make sure to smash a like before you leave. We've got over 300 people who've liked already. I've set a likes target of 1,000. If everybody who's watching likes, we will hit that target. Please make sure to subscribe as well. I'll be back later on today at 1:30 and 6. Have a great day, everybody. Speak to you all later. Bye for now.